welcome to another muscle-sapping, energy-crunching hour of strength and stamina. Britain's strongest man. And as always, helping me out for that hour, 6'2" a tribute to clean living, great champion, Henry Windebank. Nice to see you.
Nice keeping fit. I am great. You don't expect...
From Nairn in Scotland, at 5 feet 9 inches, weighing 21 stone, a Highland Games champion shot putter and weightlifter, Hamish Davidson. From Romsey in Hampshire, 6 feet 20 stone, the man nicknamed the Human Crane, Garry Windebank. No stranger to this contest, from Crystal Palace in London, 5 feet 11 inches at 18 stone, weightlifter Stephen Zetolofsky. From Spalding in Lincolnshire, former Olympic shot putter and Europe's strongest man 1980 at 6 feet 5, weighing 22.5 stone, former winner of the contest, Geoff Capes. From Crawley in Sussex, flown in from San Diego University in California, another winner of the contest, discus thrower at 6 feet 7 inches, weighing 20 stone, Richard Slaney. From Lewisham in London, National League hammer thrower and former Royal Marine Commando at 6 feet 3, weighing 20 stone 10, John Sedge. Last of the 8 from Folkestone in Kent, a judo black belt and powerlifter at 6 feet 4 inches, weighing 19 stone, Marvin McLatchie.
So there you have it, the 8 contestants who'll be competing for this magnificent trophy. Prize money of more than £1,000, but most important of all, that title of Britain's strongest man. So what's going to happen? Well, we've got 7 events for them, 7 very tough ones too. There's 8 points for a first each event, 7 for second, 6 for third, right down to 1 point for 8th place. Now, at the end of the 7 events, the 4 leaders in the points table will then take part in a tug of war. And it's from that tug of war that we'll find out who's going to become Britain's strongest man. Look at us, Hope and Royal. I mean, that's the names of the 2 shower horses that normally pull these drays all around London. But in this event, we replaced the horses with men because they're going to be pulling it down this 30-meter course, and it's obviously the fastest man that wins. You know, Henry, do you know anything about these drays at all?
Not a lot. But I know, unladen, this weighs over a tonne. Now, we're going to load it with enough barrels so it's going to weigh 2 tonne, 8 underweight, or 11,648 kilos.
Always brings his sums with them.
Yeah.
Now, what about the barrels? What about the weight in each of those barrels?
Well, they hold plenty of beer, I tell you. Each barrel weighs, or holds, 36 gallons, or 288 pints.
But now you know. Okay, well, that's putting a new twist to the phrase, shifting the ale. And we're going to see them do just that as we sit back and enjoy the dray pull.
Heat 1, Hamish Davidson versus Richard Slaney. The Scot tipped to do well here. He's already beaten Geoff Capes in a competition earlier this year. And Richard Slaney, the biggest man in the contest and a past winner.
Hands off the floor, please.
Watch the time, and it's Slaney who gets away first.
Come on, come on.
But as the tallest competitor, he might find it a problem to keep the momentum going. Davidson stocky. And indeed, he's picked up on Slaney halfway down the course. And it's Davidson getting the momentum, coming towards that finishing line. A good time. Davidson wins.
27.5 seconds we made. That was a pretty fast time to start with, Hamish. Are you happy with the way that went?
Yes, I think so. I got a pretty slow start, but I managed to keep going after that.
Being so low to the ground, do you think that may have helped you?
I think the leg strength helped me.
Well, Richard, you've done this last year. Does it get any easier? No, not at all. Still as hard on the legs, is it, in the back? Yeah.
Heat 2, Windebank versus Sedge. And that looks like the bulk there of Garry Windebank, the Human Crane. And there's John Sedge, former commando, very determined. .27.5 seconds to beat. And it's Windebank who seems to have the slower start. Notice that upright stance. And that, as we remember from the past, is always a disadvantage. And it's indeed John Sedge who's away and going well. Big man who trains round Crystal Palace with Peter Tancred, pulling a Citroen car. And today, pulling that dray, he's going to get a good time here. Well done.
Where'd you find that most painful? On the old legs or the back or all over?
Yeah, I've got a knee injury on Monday.
Yeah.
Both knees.
Yeah.
And physio done a good job on them.
Yeah, yeah. Because you're what, an ex-Marine, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you never done anything like this in the Marines before, eh? Not that you didn't pull a tank or anything like that, or...
Only used to pull sledges.
Yeah, yeah.
In Norway.
That's something like an harness, like what you got on there.
Yeah, similar. But they want so heavy as this.
Heat 3. Marvin McLatchie versus Geoff Capes. McLatchie, the judo black belt. Capes, a proven champion.
Come on!
27.5 seconds to beat. And Capes has done this a number of times now. And that 22.5 stone, pulling those drays away very quickly indeed. Marvin's struggling a little. He's got 3.5 stone of a disadvantage here. And now it's almost a run. It's almost a run from Geoff Capes to the line. Watch that time. And he's going to be well inside it. Under 25 seconds I made that there, so you're the leader at the moment. How does that compare to pulling the truck last time?
About the same.
It isn't...
Well, it's roughly about the same. I'm not quite sure which would be the easier. It runs pretty freely once you got going. But they're all hard.
The last heat, Stephen Zetolofsky versus Peter Tancred, the joker there, always with a smile on his face. And Tancred from a famous family. Well, can anybody possibly beat that time? Zetolofsky was doing this last year. And he's plodding away there pretty well. Pretty determined looking, but I don't think he's going to beat the time. Tancred's got a lot less weight, only 18 stone, and here's Zetolofsky with all that power, the weightlifter, is going to win easily, but as you can see, outside 25 seconds. The winner, Zetolofsky.
Well done. Hello, Steve. How are you?
Ah, getting older.
Yeah, yeah. You look as though you lost a bit of weight.
Yeah, gone down a stone and a bit.
Stone and a bit, eh?
Yeah.
So, what, you hope to do better or what? Because you were third last year, weren't you?
Yeah, maybe I was carrying a bit too much excess weight.
First blood to Geoff Capes in the Dray pool, 8 points. Davidson with 7, John Sedge 6, Richard Slaney 5, Garry Windebank 4, Marvin McLatchie 3, Steve Zetolofsky 2, and Peter Tancred 1. Right now, the wheelbarrow race. Now, the wheelbarrow race is rather interesting. They go up this course, 30 metres, to those bollards at the bottom, and back down again. It's a speed trial, so to speak, 4 two-man heats, and the 2 fastest will then run off at the end. Now, they'll be pushing these, our famous wheelbarrows. These have, 300 kilos. That's about 660 pounds of weight, or roughly 4 fully grown men is what they're going to be pushing on this speed trial. So there you have it, the wheelbarrow race. Heat 1. Garry Windebank versus Marvin McLatchie. Windebank, the tractor driver from Hampshire, versus the trailer driver from Folkestone. And Windebank's well away. Problems already for McLatchie. Windebank well away. 20 stone. Getting round those bollards, and indeed we look as if McLatchie has given up. He's had a problem with that unstable barrow. And it's going to be an easy victory now for Garry Windebank. Go! What happened to Marvin, though?
Marvin, what happened there?
I don't know, just as the balance forward, the whole thing just tipped forward.
Well, I think your trouble seemed to start right from the first shot, because
I think
you slipped on the...
Slightly to one side of the weight, you know, on the right-hand side of the wheel, but...
and then the barrel, what, completely just tipped?
Yeah, just fell forward.
The weight went forward,
yeah.
did it?
I think I got the balance wrong, completely wrong.
Well, we made that about just under 23 seconds, Garry, which wasn't too bad. A little bit of a catastrophe. You're not that old. A bit of a catastrophe for your fellow competitor there. But that didn't seem to do you any harm, that one.
Not too bad at all, really. Bit easier than what I expected.
Heat 2. Hamish Davidson versus Stephen Zetolofsky. Davidson, cool, determined. Stephen, always a little smile there, yes.
On your mark.
And off they go, and It's Davidson getting that low center of gravity. Struggling there, Zetolofsky. And he's had a problem. Something's gone wrong with Zetolofsky. He's limping away off the course. He seems to have torn something in his leg. And Davidson once again makes this heat a one-horse race. An easy victory, but Zetolofsky looks in terrible pain there. A win for Davidson. What's happened? Let's find out. Henry's over there with Zetolofsky. Well, there seems to be...
Old golfer, eh?
Yeah. Well, that's the end of that then. And I was doing ever so
well. You were saying you were having a bit of trouble with your knees. You didn't expect to have this on top.
No, it's the other knee, funnily enough. Now I've got one to go with it.
Well, you've got a pair now.
Yeah, I've got a matching pair.
Well,
holy holy.
How was that one for you?
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Oh, really?
No, it's
well,
a bit
time
shaky.
is better, you know, you're inside the time.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I didn't expect to do well on this one. That's my worst event.
Heat 3, Peter Tancred versus Richard Slaney. Tancred, number 2 in the discus in this country, behind this man, of course, Richard Slaney, a former winner of the contest. And they're both away together. Although Tancred seems to be wobbling just a little, he is the lighter man after all, but they're still up together round those bollards, and Tancred now has had a bit of a catastrophe. And once again, it's not so much a race, but a procession to the line for Richard Slaney in this case, and a very fast time. Watch that clock. A fast time indeed. Meanwhile, Tancred is not going to be put off. He's determined to finish this course. He comes from a famous athletic family. His father, elder brother, all athletes, and of course, there's a competitive instinct there, determined to finish. And he's got that 660 pounds back onto the track. He's pushing off to the line. You can hear the shouts of the fellow competitors pushing him on there to that line. Good points, remembering that 2 men already are out. So these are valuable points for Peter Tancred. But we think that Slaney's time is very fast. The second fastest so far. What about Peter Tancred, though?
I know, annoying that. Well, again, unfortunately, I think perhaps you were a little ginger, you know, thinking gingerly about that because of what happened previously.
I was a bit, obviously put off having seen the gash of Steve. So it's a little bit tentative in my approach, but my concentration went, and I should have held it a little bit lower.
The last of the 4 heats, Geoff Capes versus John Sedge. Capes, psyched up as always. Sedge, keen to beat Mr. Capes. Remember, this man is a remarkable athlete in every way. He can run 100 meters in just over 10 seconds, and he's sprinting along there, forgetting about that weight. Well ahead now, and running towards the line. And look at the time again. 18, 19, 20 seconds, roughly. And Sedge, he's through as well.
Well, just over 20 seconds, so you clipped 2 seconds off that. Why do you think they've been having problems?
I don't know, just look at the draw. I think some of them have been lifting the barrel a little bit too high. But the thing is, when you're competing, you just forget everything and try and get in the most comfortable position. The most comfortable is there. But because of the front struts, if you lift it too high, that's what's been catching on the ground.
Now, second to you, and the man who's going to be up against you now in the final is Hamish. Now, you know Hamish rather well.
Yeah.
You've competed together quite a lot. What about this remarkable Scot? He's only 5'9".
He's a dark horse.
The final of the wheelbarrow race. Geoff Capes and Hamish Davidson, 2 old competitors. But one thinks that Capes' competitiveness, he's never been beaten, for instance, in the shot put in Britain for 10 years. That's going to carry him through. Davidson's still doing well. And indeed, it's Geoff Capes, the big shot, as his book tells us, winning here, comfortable time.
Well, it was a good run again, Hamish, but what, just not quite fast enough?
No,
I think
I'm
Geoff
a bit stiff now. I think I've covered down the
well, it
quadriceps
just
a bit.
stiffens up a bit,
Yeah,
does it?
almost cramping there.
Is it? Oh, dear.
You happy with the position so far, then?
Yes, very much so. Slightly tired, but quite pleased.
Now, this is the second time you've competed in the British version.
Yes.
And you would say it's tougher than the first occasion?
Oh, very much so. I think, to be respectful to a lot of the lads, they're probably the best available at the present time, whereas before in the early days, when we was experimenting, they selected one or two lads that weren't quite capable of keeping with the more of an athlete. But now they've got the best in the business.
2 events, 2 victories. Geoff Capes 8 points, but 2 seconds as well for Hamish Davidson with 7. Richard Slaney 6, Garry Windebank 5, John Sedge 4, Peter Tancred 3, Steve Zetolofsky and Marvin McLatchie both with 2 points in the wheelbarrow race. And after 2 events, Geoff Capes leads by just 2 points from Hamish Davidson. Richard Slaney is 3rd, John Sedge is 4th, Garry Windebank 5th, then comes Marvin McLatchie, Steve Zetolofsky and Peter Tancred. And we're told that Steve Zetolofsky may have to retire. He's gone off to hospital with that nasty leg injury, so we think he's out of the event.
2 events gone, still very close on that scoreboard, as you can see, and 1 competitor out, Steve Zetolofsky with the injury, but we trust he'll be all right before too long. 7 competitors left then for our car lift here inside Battersea Town Hall. An ordinary family saloon car, as you can see, about 2,000 pounds in weight. And to it, we've attached a beam at the back, and that beam, of course, will enable these lifters to lift quite a lot, about 800 pounds to start with, and we'll add more weight into the boot, and it should get up to quite a lot. Henry, last year, this actually broke, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's quite right, Doug. I believe the weld went, and it was quite nasty at one time. But I think this event is going to suit the short, stocky guys who haven't got too far to lock out their legs. Yeah. Actually, I think you'd be good at this event, Derek.
Thank you very much, Henry. All right, let's get on with the car lift.
Round 1, first lifter, Geoff Capes.
Come on, Geoff.
Geoff Capes coming in, and you can see the weight.
Prepare to lift.
Lock those knees.
Down.
It's a good one. Yes, a good one for Capes. Next to go, Peter Tancred.
Prepare to lift. Lift. Down.
Almost feel the weight with it. But he's through as well. And Richard Slaney looking on. He'll have a turn in a moment. Meanwhile, he's watching Garry Windebank here have his turn. I wonder whether he'd like to be back on the farm again, as opposed to picking cars up. Oh, well, I think he's done his back in, and he's out. Yes, he's gone. Richard Slaney, who did very well in this last time.
Lift.
Britain's strongest man in 1980. Second in Europe's strongest man as well.
Down.
And it's very easy, isn't it? You've got that technique. John Sedge. Now, Sedge, not so many years ago, did his back in completely. In a parachute accident, he broke his back. But he says it's all right now, and he's determined to go in this event. Well, he may have been determined, but it's not going to happen. He's out as well.
What's the toughest? What are you going to try? Lock your legs out first, or try to straighten your back?
Yeah, I think he's flat back.
Is it? Yeah, that's the technique, is it, to get the back straight.
If you get the back locked out, and then get the legs moving, you're all right.
Right, yeah.
You just can't get it going. Yeah. It's heavy.
Marvin McLatchie next to go. His father was a weightlifter. I wonder whether he's passed on any advice here. Look at those feet, size 13. Big lad.
Lift.
And yes, I think he's locked.
Legs straight.
He's locked now. That's a good one. So he'll go on.
Well, that was a good lift. I didn't think he was going to do it at first. How did it go?
Right, it's, when you first take it, it moves easy, and all of a sudden it comes the whole way up the car, like, you know, because of the springs. But once you get it to about there, it's easy enough.
Hamish Davidson. Remarkable appetite this man's got. Eats all sorts of things. 2 pounds of steak, 2 pounds of fish, pints and pints of milk and lager, and it all works. 5 feet 9 and 21 stone, he's through also. We're into round 2 now, an extra 44 pounds added, bringing it up to 338 kilos. Peter Tancred. Well, he was a bit worried about his lack of sheer weight for this contest. And this is where it tells. And he's decided that he's going to pull out. Marvin McLatchie, the European Judo Championships, very much in his sights at the moment. He wants to get to the Olympics too. He's also something of a powerlifter, holding the Southern Counties Under-23 and Kent Seniors title. But there's an awful lot of weight here.
Come on, get out. Come on, look up. Practicing, come on. Walk it out.
He fails, so 3 men only through now, and surprisingly, Richard Slaney has opted out, and I wonder why that is.
Well, really, it's my worst event because I'm the tallest of all the competitors, and I got a few problems with my lower back. And like when you're bent over it, you're just pulling back with your back. It's just not worth the risk of injury.
More weight coming in. Round 5 and only 2 men left. And that's one of them. Indeed, it's the 2 men who top the table at the moment. Geoff Capes, Davidson to follow. Oh, that's it. He's not going to do it again. He's walked away. He's going to reserve his strength for later. So it's all up to Davidson now. If he lifts this, it's victory and 8 points.
Lift.
And that's it. Victory. Well, I get the feeling you could have lifted a bit more there.
Well, there's no way I'm going to lift more. I've no instincts about me at all. That's the art of doing something for nothing.
Well, what do they say about the Scots? Hamish Davidson, a winner this time. Capes in 2nd place. Richard Slaney 3rd. Then comes Marvin McLatchie and Peter Tancred on 5 points. Windebank and Sedge on 3. And that means it's very much tighter now at the top of the main scoreboard. As you can see, Capes has just a 1-point lead over Hamish Davidson. Richard Slaney is back there in 3rd place, and there's a battle going on for 4th. A very close contest then, and just 3 events gone, much more to play for. You can find out what's happening in a few minutes' time. We'll also have a brand new event in this contest called the battery lift, and that really is strong. Very difficult thing to do. The battery lift then coming up after this break. Back then to Battersea Town Hall, and we're ready now for a new event, at least in the British version of this contest, the battery hold. 55 pounds. Oh. 55 pounds. You may have seen this in the world version last year. Henry, you would probably like to tell us about this.
Well, I think this event is a real killer. This is a real strength and determination. You've got to hold that. You've got to have your back against the board. You've got to hold it out there, and you've got to... It's killer, you know, this oxygen starvation of muscles. It's going to be shaking, and yet you've got to blow all that out your mind, and you've got to still hold it and still keep going. It's a real killer. This, I think, is the toughest one of the lot, and I think that the one who wins this is going to be a real strong, tough...
Enough. The battery hold. Hamish Davidson, first to go. This Scot has put up a great performance so far. As Geoff Capes said, the dark horse in the contest, 2 seconds and a first. That's his record up to date. He's competed in the UK, as well as in Canada and Nigeria, where Capes beat him then, but of course Geoff suffered a defeat at the hands of Davidson not so very long ago. Remember, they've got to keep that battery up, because if it comes down too far, it will break the buzzer and they'll have to stop. Davidson going well, over 30 seconds now. Garry Windebank, he'll be following him very soon. The sheep and mink farmer from Nairn in Scotland having a great contest up to date. 43-44, great performance from Hamish Davidson. Just 5'9", but 21 stone, and it's getting closer, and there it is, 52 or thereabouts for Hamish Davidson.
What's the technique of this?
It's just holding it outright and try to tense up the leg muscles and put the strain on the bigger muscle groups of the body.
It helps you if you want to just get your head and your back against that ball, does it?
Push as hard against it as you can.
Yeah. And I see in the end, there's a lot of shaking going on. That's how he gets you, does it?
Yeah, he tried to ignore the pain barrier.
Yeah.
I think some sweet, pleasant thought.
Garry Windebank suffering here and, exhausted at around 36-37. Peter Tancred next. He's had a reasonably good contest up to date, despite his lack of weight. He's proved how good a competitor he is. 29 seconds there, he's through 30. A school teacher from London, obtained his master's degree in America. He returned here in May last year from the States. And he's coming to the conclusion, yes. An exhausting 48-49 seconds. John Sedge. John Sedge, who works in the building trade. He's the sort of man you need in if you're doing a damp course in your house. He's working around Bromley and Lewisham in London. He took up athletics about 15 years ago, and this must be one of the strongest events he's done. It really murders those arm muscles. And he's coming down there at 33 seconds. Marvin McLatchie is next. Marvin from Folkestone works for Sea-Link, pulling trailers on and off ferries. And remember that important time, that amazing time from Hamish Davidson at the start, 52.5 seconds. Well, he's only halfway there, and he's looking exhausted. Despite all that training, he gives up at 32. Now, our next competitor, Geoff Capes. He knows what he has to beat. The eyes are closed, concentrating all the time. 52.44 to beat. Geoff Capes, a marvellous competitor in the World Championships last year for Britain, finished third then. I wonder what he'd do this year if he managed to get there. 35 seconds. Can he beat 52? It's getting closer to that trigger. Is he going to trigger the buzzer? He is, yes, at 43 seconds.
Geoff, the first time you did that was in America, didn't you? I mean...
Yeah, I don't find that very easy at all. One of the most difficult things, probably because I've got hellishly long arms and long leverage. You know, it's a long way out there. And I'm a shorter guy, the leverage is far less, obviously, but not one of my best events, I'm sorry.
Richard Slaney, the last to go. He's spending a lot of his time in America now. He's also become something of an expert at American football. He's an awful lot of training. He sees that time. He knows he's got to get 8 points. He's behind. He's 6 or 7 points behind the two leaders. He needs a victory. 52.5 seconds to beat. And watch it now. Let's cut it down. 43, 44, 45, 6 or 7 seconds, 48, 9, 50. So close. 51. Has he got there? No, he hasn't. Hamish Davidson wins by 1 second from Richard Slaney. Peter Tancred is third and Geoff Capes fourth.
After a slightly slow start, Hamish, you're picking up a lot of points.
Yeah, well, this is coming into my better events now. I don't know about this steel bar bend. I'm still a bit worried about it. But
what did you think of that, of what you just did?
I could have stuck it out longer, perhaps, if I was the last man to go, but having to set the first time is a bit more difficult.
So after 4 events, a new leader. Hamish Davidson leads by 2 points from Geoff Capes. Richard Slaney is in third place. John Sedge and Garry Windebank joint fourth.
Halfway through the show, and it's very close, isn't it? Really very close indeed. What's the next?
Well, it's all about this, though. Bending bars. You get them round the back of your neck like that, and you hope to bend them.
Ladies and gentlemen, what about that?
Look at that one.
Not quite 8 inches apart. Well, it may be 8 inches apart. But that's what the competitors have to do. They're going to bend these bars to within 8 inches. And we'll start at 10 millimeters like Henry, go up to 13.5 and maybe beyond. They can use the top of their heads, the back of their necks, their teeth, but nothing else. So that's what you're going to see. You did rather well. Let's see what they do in the bar bend. So as before, 7 competitors left, 4 in this heat. It's 13.5 millimeters in the bar band. Sedge, Capes, Windebank and Davidson. And of course, Geoff Capes is an expert at this event. He's picked up points all the way. And Hamish Davidson is the leader. John Sedge is at a good contest. Garry Windebank is fading just a little now. He perhaps doesn't have the regular training that these other athletes have. Davidson and Capes seem to have gone through pretty quickly. There's John Sedge, 31 years of age. Garry Windebank, he says he's the oldest in this contest, but he's done well enough. Sedge, the ex-commando, who really damaged himself a few years back when he was working in the services. Garry Windebank, finding it just a bit too tough. 8 inches, 20 millimeters. That's the distance they have to push that bar to survive for another round. Very important to pick up points now. They're pretty far down the scoreboard. And time is up. So they go out. And Capes and Davidson go through. The second heat. Just Slaney, McLatchie and Tancred. Richard Slaney, Peter Tancred, a good contest for him, and Marvin McLatchie, the judo expert. And McLatchie seems to have done that. And so is Slaney, having problems removing it from the apparatus. There's 3 men through, so 5 men go on. Right, it's Geoff Capes and Hamish Davidson at 15 millimeters. Davidson with lots to prove, leading the contest, and that won't please this man. But wasn't that easy? In no time at all, he bent the bar to the right level, and Davidson is suffering now. Hamish Davidson, having a marvellous contest here, his first ever attempt at Britain's strongest man. Scottish bench squat and deadlift champion twice. Turned professional 3 years ago and a real Highland Games expert. But this event is beyond him, and Capes looks as if he's going to pick up points and perhaps take over the lead. We'll see. Nope. Davidson goes 108.2 centimeters, so Capes through. Now then, Slaney, who needs points, McLatchie and Tancred. Look at the way that Slaney's bending that bar. Not quite the 20 centimeters yet, but very close. Almost there. A long way to go for Tancred. I think Slaney's made it. Yes, that's okay. McLatchie. Marvin McLatchie, the judo black belt, who's done very well up to now. They all need points. And try as he will, that bar won't bend anymore. So then, Slaney goes on, McLatchie and Tancred go out, and we've reached the final. Capes and Slaney. Capes, Britain's strongest man 2 years ago, Slaney last year. is stopping, it seems. Or is he? He thinks he's bent that bar a long way more than Slaney could possibly manage it. He stopped, he's looked. He decided that Slaney won't beat that. Slaney checks and keeps going. But no, Capes looks assured. He feels he'll get 8 points here. And I think Slaney agrees. So, it's Capes the winner and Slaney is second. A marvellous performance from Geoff at 17 millimetres in the bar bend and very valuable 8 points. Slaney is second, Davidson third, Tancred fourth, Marvin McLatchie is fifth, Garry Windebank in there, and then John Sedge. And look at the scoreboard. Davidson and Capes are tied after 5 events. Slaney is third and Peter Tancred fourth. A marvellous finish in prospect.
Just 2 events to go before that tug of war, and the next one, well, it's something of a backbreaker. It's all to do with the arms and the legs. Henry.
Well, I've just been telling the girls about this next event. It's a real backbreaker, this one, and it's all in the arms and legs.
It's not to do with their back and legs, you know.
Oh.
Not theirs. They sit on the beam. They sit on this. This is the girl lift, you see. And these lights will be flashing on and off. There's 500 kilos here they're lifting without the girls. Then we put on 2 girls, that adds up to 580. And then we go on and on and on until perhaps we'll see all 10 of them for the girl lift.
With all 10 bunnies now on that beam, a massive total weight of 1,032 kilos. And it's this man, Hamish Davidson, to go first, the joint leader.
50.
One light goes, but not the other. And he isn't even bothering to try it again. He's decided that's enough.
Marvin McLatchie.
Peter Tancred already has gone out of this event, as Marvin McLatchie comes in next.
14.
Now, whatever one thinks, this judo black belt has done extremely well up to now. One hand goes there, but not the other, and one light correspondingly. But all that strain doesn't matter. He's out. So McLatchie, he's on his way as we wait for John Sedge to have a go.
Fifth lift, your own time, lift.
6 feet 3 and 20 stone 10. A big man, John.
Push up.
And he and Peter Tancred are great mates. They've trained a lot together, but all the training doesn't matter because here
Richard Slaney.
the strength is gone. Richard Slaney.
Right.
I remember Richard from last year
Fifth lift, your
winning
own
this
time,
event. He
lift.
seems to enjoy it. And both hands
And down.
go straight up. He's through. Could this be 8 points that he desperately needs? Garry Windebank. The human crane is wilting somewhat now. He is the oldest man in the contest, and he seems to have done himself a terrible injury there.
Right.
And there are people coming in to help him, and even the competitors look worried, and Garry has to be taken away. The back seems to have locked, and he seems to have damaged muscles as well, so Garry leaves the event, and we hope that he can continue. Geoff Capes is next. Joint leader with Hamish Davidson.
Come on, come on.
One hand, but not the other. Strained his back a little, but I'm sure he'll be all right. He's not going to test it any further. He's out. And that means that Richard Slaney wins it. And in joint second place, we have Capes and Davidson, Sedge, McLatchie and Windebank. And it's Peter Tancred there with 2 points in the girl lift. And after 6 events now, it's still a tie. Davidson and Capes on 43, Slaney in third place in 39, but there's still a heck of a battle for fourth. So Scotland versus England, a tie with just 2 events left. The barrel lift to come. You'll be able to see that in just a moment's time. Very familiar event on Britain's Strongest Man. And then our tug of war to decide on who'll be Britain's Strongest Man 1981. Don't go away.
We're into the final stages of Britain's Strongest Man 1981, and a very close contest it is. Just this event, and then the tug-of-war for the top 4 point scorers. Now, these barrels are 70 kilos to start with. That's about 154 pounds. It's all got sand and water inside there sloshing about. They lift them above their head, lock their elbows for 2 seconds, and then down. And we'll increase the weight, and it goes on and on and on. The barrel lift.
And it's Garry Windebank, the first to have a go at the 70-kilo barrel. But remember, he's already got a problem after that girl lift with that back of his. In fact, the physiotherapist has been working on him there, and we wonder whether or not he really can continue. Garry Windebank. So let's see how he does here in the barrel lift.
Lift.
And he's managed it.
1, 2, go.
Well, that's a very game effort, but it seems to have drained all his energy, and it appears that Garry won't be continuing. 110 kilos. 5 men left. John Sedge is already out, and this is Richard Slaney, who still has a chance to win. Again, an event he did very well in last year. Notice that rolling technique. It's up, but is it good? He sustained it. And it's a good one. Richard Slaney goes on. Hamish Davidson. Well, the dark horse he may have been at the start, he's proving what a super competitor he is, and that was very easy. Seemed to expend no energy there at all. Geoff Capes. Well, we've said so much about him over the years. And I think that now that he sees the contest so close, he may very well pull out another gear and show how good a competitor he really is. On he goes. Marvin McLatchie, a 21-year-old, 19 stone, 6'4", chest 50 and waist 36. There's a bit more information about this man. The strength is gone from him.
110 was what? Just a little bit too much, huh?
So, the last 2 breaks the camel's back. I think that's what he's
But you've done well. That was...
Yeah, I was pleased with the 100 kilo.
Yeah, because this is not your game, really, is it? This power lifting
Well, I think it will be.
Yeah?
I'll get to a bit more of it.
That's it. Well, keep going. Lovely, well done. Yeah.
Peter Tancred, who's been so much involved in athletics now since he was 14. He's been an international for 13 years now. And he'll be going on. Well done. Richard Slaney, attempting 115 kilos.
Come on, that's yours. Keep hold of it.
Getting help there from his brother.
1, 2, go.
And that little bit of help has helped him on.
1,
the Scot.
2, go.
He's on as well into the next round. Geoff Capes, 115 kilos. 260 pounds. And there's Steve Zetolofsky back after his injury to help these other competitors on. And Geoff Capes has done it. The man at the top of the leader table doing well, but Peter Tancred now has found that just too much. 120 kilos. Richard Slaney with Capes and Davidson still in. These are the 3 leaders in the table. £264 is just a few pounds too much. Hamish Davidson. Remember, this is the last of the events before the tug-of-war. He's rolled it up. But game effort from this man, and not enough.
The question is, Hamish, Geoff going after you here, do you think he's going to manage it either?
It's a fair weight now. It's heavier than he's done before, I think.
All right. It's all or nothing for Geoffrey Capes, the Lincolnshire poacher. And it's there! And a roar from the man. Well, if there was any doubt at all that you weren't a competitor, you quashed it there, Geoff. That was fantastic. That's the best you've ever lifted on this.
Yeah, I thought I was getting too old. I was very pleased, obviously, because I had to stay with Hamish because he's very, very close, and I knew I had to come in the first 3 or even 4 to keep in touch with him. Fantastic competitor. One of the most underrated, underestimated person in the championships.
8 points for Geoff Capes. Richard Slaney and Hamish Davidson with 7. Tancred then, McLatchie, Sedge and Windebank. And so after 7 events and before the tug of war, it's Capes who leads by 1 point from Davidson. In 3rd place, Slaney, and 4th, Sedge on 28 points. Windebank is out. We couldn't have planned it any better. Just 1 point between the top 2 as we're set now for this tug of war. What about it, Henry?
Unbelievable. First place 3rd, 2nd place 4th. The 2 winners of those heats pull in the final.
And not forgetting, of course, that 3rd and 4th play off for 3rd place. Now, it's the best of 3 tugs. They're 18 feet apart. They've got 90 seconds. And may the best man win. The tug of war. Hamish Davidson versus John Sedge. Hopefully for a place in that final of the tug of war. Plenty of time to weigh each other up. And Davidson has an early lead. He's lost his balance, though, giving the initiative back to Sedge, who's pulling him all over the place now and over the line. 1 up, I make that, for John Sedge. 1 up.
Another 2 to go.
1 up, 2 to go. Hamish Davidson. And he's making no mistake this time. On he goes. It's 1-all, yes. Final pull. His feet on the slippery surface, Sedge. He's over the line, the winner, Davidson. Great performance from this stocky, tough Scot.
Well, how'd you find the tug of war? Have you done much tug in a war before?
Never done it before in my life, no.
And you had what, 1 pull each, and then you had the 3rd one for the final, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how'd that go on your legs and your body? Do you feel?
Well,
whenever I done it, I always felt my bloody knees were always trembling and shaking.
Yeah, I've got fairly strong legs, I think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep low and just get the leg power into it.
Good.
Last year, when Capes and Slaney met, there were all sorts of ructions in the tug of war. Let's see what happens this time. Well, Capes is being pulled about a bit. That's what happened last year. Slaney sat down a lot, but it didn't matter then because Capes had already taken him over the line. 1 up. Round 2. Ridiculous. 21 stone being pulled all over the place. 2-0 to Capes. So the final of the tug of war between Hamish Davidson and Geoff Capes. Geoff.
Hamish and I, we competed on Monday in the Highland Games, and Hamish beat me by 1 point, and I wasn't very pleased with that. But that's his forte in Highland Games. I just started. And I've been really training for the World Championships. Hopefully that I'm going to compete in it later on. And this is a different set of game, a different set of events again, you know, and a little bit strange. I've been caught a couple of times, and hopefully I'm going to pile it on now.
The final of the tug of war, the climax to this year's contest. And in round 1 of the tug of war, it's Geoff Capes who gets first blood. Round 2. Davidson, who's been a marvellous competitor here throughout and has pushed Capes the whole way. The Scot just will not give up. but it's Capes' strength that makes a 2-0 victory here in that tug of war. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the tug of war and Britain's strongest man 1981 is Geoff Capes. And he wins it by just 2 points at the end. Davidson is second, Slaney is third, Sedge, Windebank, McLatchie, Tancred and Zetolofsky, who was very unlucky. Sylvester Campbell, the chairman of British Bacon, presents a very appropriate present, as well as an all-important trophy to Britain's strongest man, 1981, Geoff Capes. It'll be Capes going now to America to compete in the world title. He was third there last year. You'll see it on ITV later on. But meanwhile, from Geoff, from Henry Cooper and myself, goodbye.